the Advanced Communicator Manual, and he's working on the project of storytelling. Assuming we're going to hear a little more about Bert's family. Bert,
No, not about the family, but I do want to tell you a story about a kid I knew had sort of the same background I did. I went to South America in business. This boy did basically the same thing, but he was recruited by a multinational company out of Panama. They sent him to Florida, where he took a Spanish intensive course called Berlitz. From there, they sent him down to South America, to a small village, well, not a small town, a ski town, a snow skiing town, where he was. They were grooming him to take over the operations in that city, in that town. The boy quickly acclimated to the area. He got friends. In fact, one Sunday he was over at their house, and it became dusk, and he had to work that next day, Monday, and being conscientious, he bid his farewells. And on the way back, it turned to nightfall, which it usually does after the afternoon. And I'm sure you all are aware. Well, let me give you give you a little background. This was located in what they call the Patagonia, a place of Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, in this area. It's the same Sierra Nevadas that run down the American west coast until it gets to Argentina. It's the Andes. Well, this is the base of the Andes Mountains, and I'm sure you can imagine what the roads are like in the mountains, swerving back and forth until he was upon this one hairpin curve. Well, he didn't make it. He goes through the guardrail and down. Now, when he hits the guardrail, he goes through the windshield, but the windshield grabs him on his shin and keeps him from going completely out. But on the way down, he's 12 or 13 times. So on the final revolution down, he's caught underneath the car. So being underneath the car, he had the good fortune that the roof hadn't been totally smashed in. So he was caught in between the hood and the top of the roof, giving him space, not being crushed at that time. Well, fortune has it also, he was in the middle of nowhere, and there was a peasant lady, which they called peons at that time, living higher in the mountains. And you can imagine the kind of noise a car going down a mountain would make. So she heard that and made her way down to the rail and looks over and knew somebody was in bad trouble. So she, luckily for this guy, walks 5 miles that night into the town and gets to the police, where they in turn get to the ambulance. Now, in this place, we're talking about an ambulance. It's they're not paramedics. Do you all know of like a small town like Apopka? It's well, it's a really small town. Well, imagine Apopka 50 years ago, with their expertise, with their science, their technology. I mean, they're nowhere. So the ambulance, which was in that day a pickup truck, arrived. The paramedic, who was really no more than two older kids, got to there. They were just to find out really what's up. So somehow they got the kid, pulled him out from underneath the car. When they got there, having gone through the windshield, blood was all down, soaked the whole body. Being in the snow that whole night, the body had put him in coma to reserve his strength to fight another day. Well, when they see this, you listen for a heartbeat or respiration. I'm sure you're aware that the heart's practically nil. The respiration is undetectable. So the kid, for them, he's dead. So they've got to get him back to the city. So one grabs his arms, the other one grabs the legs. 1, 2, 3 into the pickup, and they take him there and they put him in the morgue. Now let's go back to the office. They've got to find out who this kid is. So the office, he's always there at 7 o'clock. The boss recognizes unusually late. 8 o'clock comes around, there's something wrong. 9 o'clock comes around, call the hospital, call the police. So they call the hospital, nothing. They call the police. Well, yeah, we found the guy. He's tall, blonde hair. Yeah, we've got him. He's dead. What? It was pandemonium in the office, and Carlos, the boss, gets his friend, a neurosurgeon, goes down to the morgue. In the morgue, Carlos sees what's become a friend of his, a young friend that he had skied with on that previous Saturday, and I just can't believe he's dead. I was skiing with him, and now he's laying on his back, dead. I just can't believe it. The neurosurgeon goes, Carlos, he's dead. That's part of living. Better you give him up sooner rather than later. And Carlos, no, I just can't believe it. So the neurosurgeon, Carlos, when you cut a dead person, they don't bleed. So he takes and he cuts the boy, and he bled. So things go wild inside the morgue. This time they get a real ambulance, and they take him to the hospital where he's hooked up to the IV and fed intravenously until they can decide what's up. At this point, the neurosurgeon tells Carlos, you get him to Buenos Aires, he's going to die. They have neither the facilities, the expertise, they have nothing this kid needs if he's going to make it. So they talk to the administrator. The administrator totally agrees and tells him, you just have a family member sign off, and if you can get him to Buenos Aires, he's yours. Well, Carl, no, his family's not here. Well, then he ain't leaving. No, I thought you just said he needs to go to Buenos Aires or he's in trouble. Yeah, I said that, but he ain't leaving here. So there was trouble between both of them, and somehow the administrator got on the ground, and he got on the ground. He was knocked to the ground, and he told Carlos, "I'm calling the police." And Carlos goes, "Well, let me back up again. This is Argentina in the 70s. They have what they call a junta militar. It was run by all military generals and colonels. Carlos goes, call any policeman you want, because I know the military. So anything you do is going to be overridden." In the meantime, he gets his truck or whatever he needs to get him to the airport to try to get him to Buenos Aires. It just so happened that he knew the owner of the second largest airline in Argentina, and arranged to buy 3 seats on the side of the plane where he could lay down the body here and still continue to feed it intravenously as it comes. Well, it just so happens that the captain comes in and asks, what's this all about? And they said, well, we're taking a boy that's in a coma to Buenos Aires. And he goes, wait a minute. This kid dies when we're in the air. They're going to take away my wings. No way, he ain't going. So Carlos, I can understand. I can understand completely. But before you make the final decision, please come look at the boy. So he comes look at the boy and where they're flying, and well, long story short, he relents to let the boy fly, saying that we have to stay below the ceiling of 1,000 meters. So at that time, well, he was to cruise at 10,000 feet, and they were to tell him exactly when he died, so he'd go down to the nearest airport. Now let's go back to the United States, where they were trying to find his mom and his dad. Now, his dad was in what they call the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bel Air, and Curacao. Well, they couldn't find him for a while, but they finally got hold of him, and he was flying back to Buenos Aires. Now, the mother was a different story. She was on a sailboat, sailboat traveling to the country of Panama, so there was no way to get in touch with her. What the older son decided to do is cancel her airline ticket. So even though there was no way to communicate with her, she wouldn't get out of there without calling home, which she did. She got to the son and said, well, what's the deal? Where's my ticket? And she goes, Mom, I've got good news and I got bad news. She said, well, what's the good news? And he said, well, Hugh, he's alive. And well, what's the bad news? Well, he's had an auto accident, he's in coma, he's in critical condition, they don't know if he's going to live. So she gets an airline ticket directly from Panama to Buenos Aires. Now here comes the reason that I talk about this is because what Emma was talking about last week. It's a prayer that he was talking about. Now this boy has come back, and no boy, he's come back from South America. He now takes anti-seizure medication. He slurs. He has no coordination whatsoever, but he just feels lucky to be alive. And what Emmett said, well, I'll wind it down with this. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.